We could try that again. Let's take two. Let's try that again. Hi everyone, my name's Sebastian and welcome to Atmoseeker, your place for props, terrain and creating an inspiring atmosphere for your tabletop role-playing games. Hopefully I'm coming through a lot clearer this time with the microphone turned on. And with that we're going to look at a few things around the table, and I'm just going to paint some minis and talk about some DMing techniques that I use at the table. I've got some questions that I've kind of lined up from a few Facebook groups I follow, and if you do have any suggestions for the channel or for the group, be sure to visit the Facebook group at atmoseeker.com. And to get things started, I thought I would just show you a few of the minis that I have at the table ready to paint, and I'm trying to keep these spoiler free, so for some of the people in the campaigns that are in. So I've got some minis that have, you know, some Hero Forge minis or stuff. So without further ado, let's have a look. That camera isn't working. Of course it's not. Well, let me just refresh this guy, see if we can get it working. There we go. That's a bit, whoa. It's there we go. Must have moved or something. I must have pushed it around with my girth around this place. Here we go. We got now we got two of us, and we've got Atmosleeker that I mentioned in the last live stream. He didn't have brown on him. In this one, he has. I just gave him a thick coat of. What do we got? One of these contrast paints by Citadel. It's a snakebite leather, and this is it worked pretty well just to you know, quickly get some color on this guy and some contrast. So I was pretty impressed how that came on. I haven't tried any contrast paints before, so that was interesting to give it a shot. Let's get a little music going, like kind of lighten the mood. That was not quite nice what we had in the waiting screen. So we got this guy by Artisan Guild. You can 3D print this guy yourself. He was originally a lot larger as well. If I could get a good shot, hold it still for a second, Seb, so people can see. Let me get some focus. Come on, focus for me. It will. It's got my hands in focus. So if you wanted to see how my hands look like, it's a good Gordon Ramsay impression there. I don't know. You can kind of see him. So I'll hold it there. There might be some camera settings on this camera that have defaulted to it happens every stream. I'm still new to this, so please be a little forgiving as I'm just going to try and tweak this setting a bit. Let's see if it's messed things up. It sure has messed up all my settings that I had before. Let me just take 2 seconds to nurture this camera a little bit. And while I'm doing this, if you have any questions about the channel or suggestions for video topics that you'd like me to cover, feel free to suggest those in the comments of any of the videos that you like to see. Just trying to get this guy. I see we've got white balance. There we go. White balance is good. The exposures. The factory 10 settings are way too high on this thing. There we go. I'm going to turn it off for a second and then give it a little flash. There we go. That's a lot nicer, a lot crisper, and coming through 60 frames per second. So we got this guy, and hopefully now he'll focus for you. No autofocus on this one. I don't think so. Get closer. Get in there. I think so. Oh, that's better. There we go. Now you can see some of the detail in there. Beautiful sculpt from Artisan Guild. Came printed in quite a few pieces. So like the wings were separate, the body was all one, the head was separate. And especially with some contrast paint on this now, you can really kind of see some of those details kind of popping through. I did print him at about 60% the regular size. So a lot of the pre-supported models that they had in there didn't quite work. So I had to do the supports myself because they came out really thin because I shrunk it down. Another model I was thinking of painting tonight is we've got these Hero Forge minis. They are some nice ones of a couple of characters from a campaign. We've got Umbus here. I mentioned him in the last stream. Didn't quite get around to painting him. I'm kind of feeling these guys. I haven't done humanoids in a while, so perhaps that might be a good one. I also have a Nothic here as well, which is that is exposing quite a bit. Let me just turn that down a bit. Yeah, we got a Nothic here. He's got some good detail. A lot of these spikes are very brittle. I think I've already lost a couple, but he's just got a rough paint job on him at the moment. So that's just did have to throw him on the table just a couple of weeks ago. So it would be nice to make this guy a lot nicer. That might be a good warm-up one, just to kind of throw some purple on this guy. I do have the airbrush here as well. I'm a novice, or novice. Is that beginner? Beginner-ish of painting miniatures and stuff. So I don't know. I could give this guy a shot. I also have a bigger one here where we've got this. There we go. We've got a. This is like a lich-ish kind of guy. He's called the Soundless One. He's kind of hard to see because he doesn't have a lot of paint on it. He's got the translucent resin. Novice. Thank you, Aaron. Welcome. Yeah, so this was from Rocket Pig Games, and I quite like their miniatures because they are support free. They come just straight off the bed like this. So we got a few miniatures that we can paint, and I think while I'm getting the paints out, I'm just gonna have a look at some of the questions that I've got kind of lined up. The first one is, what's it like being a dad and being a D&D dad? That's the one. I'm not sure how many parents of children watch this show, but it is definitely the one thing that you lose the most is time, and it's because you love the little buggers and you got to keep them alive, and spend as much of that quality time with them. But also that means a lot of this kind of stuff turns to a late night kind of thing, and I don't really mind it that much. It just means that those games that you do end up running become a lot more special. So you usually kind of spend a little bit more effort on starting to get things ready. That said, it has meant that I've had to be a little smarter on the stuff that I have had to prep. Like I've used a lot of pre-generated material, or like random tables, just a lot of stuff like that to kind of lighten the load, lighten the burden. So there's no shame in using pre-written materials, and mostly I've used it in a way that's kind of like a good jumping off point, really, to inspire some ideas. Like a lot of the time whilst running a game, I often forget what the specific lore or rules and stuff, and just go with my gut on some things. So I think, yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think I'm going to start with this guy. I am unsure. Should I just? I think he's too small to use the airbrush. So I'm just gonna stick him on a barrel here. Start painting him. Let's see. He doesn't have a base on him, so that's a bit awkward. I should have put him on something. Maybe I should have super glued him to something. That might make him a bit awkward. But I could use the airbrush on this guy. That sounds fun. Maybe I'll get some colors going and see how they go. The airbrush compressor I have is a little bit loud, so you might hear some noise there. So if it's too much, I can turn it off. I might just try and maybe pick one, Seb. Or you guys pick one. I don't know. I could try the airbrush on this guy. I could finally paint Umbus and Philomere here. We've got the big one, the soundless one, this lich-ish guy as well. And we've got this guy. I really wanted to start with this guy, but But yeah, I'm not entirely certain how to. I know a lot of people super glue stuff to be able to. Could I just super glue them onto the barrel? My super glue is not that strong, so I'm just gonna. I could just stick him on his ass there, and then just do. Let's see. Can I just put one foot in there? Yeah, what the hell? I'm gonna start with this. I figure it might be pretty easy to fix up that foot if need be. Okay. You know what? I'm going to turn the autofocus off just so we can see these things properly as I'm painting them. I'm just going to try and hold it within the zone here that we can do a little bit of painting. All right, let's see if we can get this sharp. Drag it. Turn auto off. Oh. I think that's in the realm of focus-ish. I guess so, yeah. All right, so I guess I don't really have any specific purples. You know, you can mix paints, so I've got a red and a blue here that probably come through quite dark. That might not be a bad starting point to start painting this thing, so I might start with that. Just gonna give these a little shake, and probably about 10 minutes I'll switch things up around here and maybe show something that I've got on the table over there set up to talk about some lighting that I use. All right, just gonna mix some paint here. It's probably way too much. So I'm using a Dragonfire Red and a Kraken Blue. Whatever these probably aren't the real names of these colors. They're probably, they're from one of those beginner starting kits from WizKids. Hey, it's a good way to get a good variety of paints for you know, good price. I guess I'll thin it a little bit of water as well. Let's see, that's still a bit reddish. I might just throw in a bit more of that blue. Maybe a black if it's coming up to, to brown, I guess. See, it is pretty brown. It's turning into like a, oh, hang on, starting to turn. Needs more blue. I need a brighter blue. This is too dark. All right, let's see if we can get this purple right. And if not, I'll just abandon it for something else. Oh, there we go. That's starting to come together. All right, I think I'm happy with that. As I'm going quite dark on this one, just because it's going to be that first layer underneath it. This is kind of like a night-ish kind of creature, so I'm just going to build up from there, I think. So let's see if we can just throw a little bit of paint on this guy. Okay, let's see what I've got a few brushes here. I've got some of these what have we got? Like, it's like a dollar store, one of their fine brush, you know, their fine brush line, I guess. I guess we'll just start painting on this thing. That's already looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. The consistency is quite good. It's going on very, very slick, actually. It's nice to give this guy a little bit of love. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at another question. All right, what have we got? I struggle for character ideas. Any thoughts to make more interesting? I guess the player character ideas, or it could be NPCs. So I mean, I guess this could work for both. I don't think there's any shame in using stereotypes or just like just things that are good to kind of like what do you call it? Like it's like you can't you start a character and it's just like, oh, it's this guy. It's, you know, it's Harry Potter or it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, and you use that as like a starting point, and then more often than not, a lot of that will turn into its own unique character. But it's a good, because it kind of gives you the mannerisms, it gives you like the train of thought. Like, all right, you go into it as Harry Potter, so you already have like this teen angsty kind of attitude, and you could kind of like, I'm going to lean into that more because that's a bit more fun. And just kind of a little bit more entitlement, but you have like, you've got the voice, you got the you know, the attitude and stuff. So picking like popular characters from popular media and stuff is a great way to go, just because it is that it's that thing of like what do you say, like when it's most recognizable, like people around the table will pick that up, and it's kind of fun because you're just kind of doing a bad impression. Like, even if your like voice skills aren't up to snuff, you know, it's fun to do that kind of stuff, even if you're just hamming it up and having a good time. So just kind of picking characters from popular culture is a good way to kind of find kind of role-playing guidance, I guess, as like a template, but kind of as a jumping off point, as you kind of find when you're playing, you know, I gotta hold that a lot closer. Get distracted when I'm talking. But yeah, like I find that kind of a fun way to do it, because it kind of takes the pressure off. From like GMs, as a GM doing NPCs, or as players just coming up with character ideas. Yeah, that was a good question. A lot of these questions are just off different Facebook groups that I follow. This one was from like a Dungeon Masters resource group that they have all kind of good questions or suggestions for tools and stuff. There's quite a few out there, so I think that's one of the things that are quite lucky about this day and age. You have a lot of resources that you can kind of pick and choose from. I can't imagine back in the day when you had, I guess you would rely a lot on like magazines or I guess word of mouth, talking to people, phone calls, conventions probably. I do have a friend who is from maybe that earlier era of D&D, so I might ask him some questions about that time next time I see him. All right, so I think I'm naturally moving this way, so I might try. Yeah, that's a little out of focus. My hand's in focus, so that's good. But let's see if I can clean that up just a smidge. Ah, welcome again, RFT Hobby. Great to see you too, buddy. Let's see if I can get this focused a bit more on this guy. This is a Nothic by, I can't remember where this is from. I'm gonna say, look, I kind of look at Rocket Pick games again a lot, so maybe it's from there. It's not support free, that's for sure, so I don't know if that's their main motto with a lot of these things. So I'm sure they use support on some of their models. Well, that exposure was way off. All right, let's see if we can get the focus right on this guy. Oh, that's a lot better. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. I could even move this guy a little to this way. So now we're both comfortable. I can hold it at this weird angle, and now you can see. Beautiful. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Anyone have anxiety over causing a TPK? My players are level 12 and have played them for 2 years. That's that's an interesting one, because like I get it, like these players have invested a lot of interest in these characters, created backstories, and you know, like voices, and you've forged you know, like in-game friendships with these characters. But you know, I think at the end of it all, like, it's adventuring life, and adventuring life can be deadly, especially if you're level 12. Like I would guess, like especially from the Dungeon Master guide, the types of problems you'd be dealing with at level 12 are very kind of high level. Like I think that's like, what are you talking about? Like city kind of broods and maybe some deity kind of stuff. Maybe not that level. But yeah, definitely more kind of high intensity problems at that level. So I guess the stakes would be pretty high, I would guess. Look, I'm a big fan of let's just, if the dice roll that way, and you know, if it's a game of chance, and you do some dumb decisions or something, you're gonna die. You know, I think, like, if you let the dice take the blame on some of these things, then it kind of takes that off your conscience, I think. But I can understand, you know, some DMs want to kind of shield their players from that kind of grief. But I kind of like the deadliness sometimes. It's just, it's especially like being a player, like I like the stakes more when it's a lot more risky. Like I personally really enjoy a lot of lower level games where it's mostly your wits and stuff to get through some of these puzzles and stuff. But there is a lot of great stuff about, you guys cannot see that at all. There we go. There is a lot of good stuff about being a player at higher level, because you have a lot more utility with some things. Like not so much like you might have more high level problems or something, but now you've got more tools to deal with situations. So yeah, it's interesting how that kind of all kind of levels out. But really, if the dice roll that way, and you know, and the situation is dangerous, sometimes people die. Especially back then, probably loads of people died. I mean, I'm saying back then like it's actual history, but you know, we're talking fantasy here. As long as it's a good death, you know, I think that's probably where I'd bite my tongue a little bit. Like if it's a memorable death. I keep sliding this way. If I just kind of shuffle over about this way, there we go. Yeah, if it's just like a cheap death, like you just, oh, I fell down a pit trap, and it's like, you know, 20d6 damage. Damn, all right, that was a level 12 character gone or something. That's cheap. But if it's like got that story momentum to it, and you know, and it has purpose and meaning, like he died, you know, putting the chalice on the throne, and it sucked the life of him out of him, and now he's kind of enchanted in this speaking chalice for the rest of his days. But the town is saved, you know. You know, that, I mean, that has a bit more weight than just. So yeah, I guess TPK. Oh, I guess that was the crux of the question, wasn't it? Anxiety over creating a TPK. I've never had a TPK, so I can't really speak to it. 5th edition can be pretty forgiving for players, I've found. Like there's a lot of second chances, like a lot of stuff where you get multiple saves on things, or you got multiple saves. You've got death saves. You've got even then there's like resurrection stuff that you guys can do. So it can be very, very difficult. I'm saying this is like it's a DM problem. It's very difficult to kill your players. Like, I don't want to kill players. I don't want to kill any players. I want them to have fun, and I think that's the ultimate goal of the table, is to enjoy ourselves and have fun on this stuff. So, yeah, if people aren't having, I guess that's the main rule. If people are having fun, and yeah, there's the high stakes and the risks are involved, add to the enjoyment of the game, then, you know, I don't have that anxiety of those causing those kind of potential disasters. And you know, sometimes it's just the bad luck of the roll where, you know, it's just a lot of bad dice rolls happened in this session, and wow, just luck was not on your side, guys. So yeah, sometimes that happens, but you can't control that if you just trust in the dice gods, what they're going to do. And look, personally, as a player, I'm all right with dying. You know, I think as long as it makes a fun story in the end, that's really what it's all about. Yeah, that was a good question. I know there are some GMs that kind of want their players to have fun and don't feel like death is really a good way to do it. I guess it might seem cheaper at the lower levels, but I don't know. Like at the lower levels, especially when you're have so few hit points and stuff, you know, maybe it makes a bit more meaning to those heroes that get to level 2 and you know, have a bit more like, all right, now we're starting to be heroes at the end of this. Because that is one thing about character generation that, especially when you have like, I have, you know, a 17 strength and stuff. It's like, well, you guys are already gods, you know, like, what are you guys doing, like saving this pig farmer's wife at level 1? I bet there's variation for like starting with like commoner stats, and then you know, progressing into something a bit more like heroic by the end of it. You know, I bet there's just like different systems of maybe more like OSR kind of rule sets that are a bit more hardcore, I guess. Yeah, I'm just going. You know what? I'm going to finish putting this. What do you call this? It's like, this ain't a purple. This is like a mauve, if that's the right color. It's like a deep, bloody purple. I actually quite like the color on this. It's going on pretty slick. I think it kind of suits the Nothic quite well. All right, I'm going to finish putting this coat on him, and maybe let that guy dry a bit before I hit the next thing. Or I mean, I guess I've got enough paint here that I could do some wet blending afterwards. So maybe I'll just let that first coat dry, and while that's drying, we can have a look at something else. So the choices are, I got a new board game for Christmas. It's the Adventure Begins board game. It's a beginner kind of intro board game to D&D. So it has a lot of the core thinking and rules in there, but it's like simplified. I was actually playing it with my 5-year-old the other day. So he's already into kind of some of this monster stuff, so he was enjoying it. So I could open the box here and have a look at that kind of stuff, or I could show you what I've got on the table over there with some atmosphere, fog, lighting kind of stuff, just to show a little bit of that kind of stuff. I think maybe I have to make the fog machine warm up a bit, so maybe I'll go turn that on in a second. we'll have a quick look at the board game, and then we can have a look at the table. I think this guy's coming up pretty well. Like, that's just a single color, but you see, I like that it's kind of picking up a lot of those subtle details. Like you can see in here, like some of the ribs and stuff. Ugh, you know, ugh, gross. This guy's fought against this guy the other week. So they think. A few mysteries that they're starting to unravel. That's the Shadowfell group. They're a fun group. We've been playing for a few years. Been kind of hopping back through different modules, and it's been like a consistent storyline-ish. So we started with homebrew one shot that I did. Then they wanted more, so we did The Lost Mines of Fandelver with a lot of name changes and stuff to kind of fit that homebrew world that I started it in. And then doing Horde of the Dragon Queen. And a lot of stuff has kind of changed in there. And where this goes after this, well, I guess there's Rise of Tiamat after this. So I am looking forward to that book. There's some big things in that book that I'm very excited for. So, guys, if you're watching, oh man, you are so close to the end of this book, the first one. So, we have gone a little bit off book by going to the Shadowfell a bit. So, that's kind of what I like about this game, that you can't plan for everything. All right, I think I've pretty much got a coat on top of this guy of all the stuff. I think he's pretty coated of this purple. I guess I'll have to check this foot. Oh my god. Let's see if I can fix that up a bit. All right, I'll just give him a little bit on that foot, and we'll pause this guy. Maybe we'll come back to him. So it looks like we're painting the Nothic tonight. Okay. Oh, didn't see that. I didn't drop it. I'm not a klutz. The truth is, I am a klutz. And it's not great for a guy who's chosen a hobby where you have to be particularly like gentle and sensitive with things. And I mean, sometimes those bees just come out of nowhere. All right, I'm gonna put that guy to the side here. He's just gonna sit in this little paint well. I'm gonna just switch the camera to that one. So didn't really get an answer from the chat. So I think what I'm going to do is, because we have a very dedicated viewer on the channel, Dave, this one's for you. I've got a is it Dave? Oh, God, I hope it's David. Yeah. Dedicated viewer. I hope I got your name right. I'm pretty sure it's David. I would say I'm going to just look at the most recent. There you go. Yes, it is David. David, thank you. Thank you for being such a loyal Atmoseeker. And so we're going to have a look at a terrain board that I have set up over there that has some lights and everything. I did say I was going to turn on the fog machine, so that'll have to warm up a little bit, but we can still have a look while I look at that. So just going to turn the camera around. So if I can I just grab this and give it a spin? Whoa. See, this is how I work, guys. It's not just about the games. It's about the atmosphere around the games. If I can get past this. So I've got, let's see, I've got something set up over here. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle. Just forgive me as I've got all these cables and wires all over me. Oh my, this is, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Just bear with me for a moment. All right, so we have a nice little forest set up here. Nice little game table set up. And I can just kind of talk you through a few of the things I have set up here. Is the stream going? It is. Sorry, I've lost the chat. All right. Well, I think it's still streaming, so it says it hasn't lost connection. So yes, no, we're still good. Very good. All right. So I've got a few things here kind of set up. I mean, I'm just going to go through the general setup of what I've got here. Just going to turn on the fog machine there, because that's a little bit part of what I'm going to talk about here. All right. So what I've got is a little forest setup here. I have set up some forest setup boards like this before, and this is mostly just, you've got these individual tiles. I love these kind of size tiles because you can get quite a large board out on the, I might have to take it off, get a bit closer. There we go. Can I get more of a top down? All right, maybe that's a bit better. So yeah, I've got some of these larger kind of tiles, which they store very nice and compact. They've got some flock on the top, and you can also kind of pre-lay out some of the board on some of these things. So especially if you're hosting a game, that's quite good. And so I've got some. This is kind of like a forest layout, and I have a mock situation kind of put out here. So we've got this band of adventurers coming through, and they're asking for passage from these goblins, and the goblins are setting up some kind of ambush with this guy in the bushes. So I've got some larger trees here to kind of create that feeling of a deeper kind of forest, some larger kind of trees for this higher canopy, but it's still kind of hidden, so players still have a line of sight. And the lights that we've got some smaller kind of brush kind of stuff to fill out some of those corners and make it feel very kind of lively. And we've also got like these are I use them in probably about every game I have. They're just these, you've got like that clump lichen kind of like foliage stuff. Just dab a hot glue on the board, on like a hot glue mat kind of thing, and just jam those in there. You've got like these bushes and stuff, and I use them to soften a lot of these corners of like rocks and stuff that you kind of place out. Nice little details around here, nice little touches of just tiny little crates, or here I've got like a compass that I have that is, it's like a very heavy kind of like weighty metal compass from Campaign Coins. They're a beautiful website, beautiful company that make these. So it's all hard to tell without any light. I'll get a candlelight here. That's fun. So you got these beautiful this beautiful kind of compass rosette. Because for the life of me, I can't remember east and west. No matter how many times I try to like change up the rhyme and stuff. But this is great to kind of throw on the board, so you have whatever kind of terrain you have set up, to be able to, all the players to see like the direction, or describe like I go to the north side or the south side And it's a lot easier having it out there. Plus it looks cool, so I like that kind of thing. All right, we've got a little bit of fog going. Now I've just got this set for the like a room kind of fog. So just because this is like a forest setting, so for a room kind of fog, it's just without any fog chillers or anything. It's just going to point it into a room. So you're going to see a little bit of fog in a moment. Give it a good puff. So the idea with that is because this is a forest setting, and I've got these like, let's see if I can show you these. Where is it? I've got these DJ party ripple lights. They've got like a water rippling feature, and you can change the color of them. But because of the nature of the light, they have you can see some of the light streaming through, almost kind of like light rays kind of coming through. It's quite atmospheric when it comes through. So that's the kind of use of the fog in this situation. It's more to create that, give the light some volume, I guess. So let's see. So yeah, now especially if I track back here, you can see you can see some of those light rays coming through, and that's quite pretty. So at the moment I've got the lights kind of set up for like a daytime kind of thing, and you notice I don't have both lights set to the same color. The one on the right, the one here is kind of set to a yellow, and the one to the left is set to like a cyan, almost like a very white, very blue. So they kind of complement each other. So like you've got the cyan kind of picking up a lot of these darker shadows, and because you don't want anything to be kind of like pitch black, but you still kind of want it to have, or like saturated with the same color, but they kind of complement each other and give it, you know, a good mix. Now, if you wanted to change it up, if you wanted to change up the time of day, I've just got a remote here that I'm going to use for one of these for both of these lights, and I think I would set probably the key light to like a blue. Probably leave that other one to a cyan, or even just to a white. Maybe cyan. You could go purple if you wanted to. That kind of makes it more of a magical, you know, like almost like a, what do you call it? Almost an Underdark feel. You could say. Holy crap! Almost lost my laptop. These cables need to be longer. Okay, so that's with like a blue and purple, and see it's much better with the complementing colors than rather just like if I hit it all with a blue. That's still okay, as long as, but you could break it up with splashing some color in there. So to do, if this was the case, if I had it all kind of like a monotone kind of color, just to kind of break it up a bit. Now I've got these like spotlights here, and they're for like Christmas displays. I think I showed them on the last stream. Let's see if I turn this on. So they've got a battery pack for themselves, and I've just got these gels that I've put on the front of them. So you could grab one of these, and say if there was like a campfire or something, you could have this off the board. And you see now that you've got like the general blue, and then you've got that hint of orange, so it makes it, it's got that feeling like it breaks it up. So that's one way to do it. Let's see, what other kind of situations could you light this board? You could make it more of a lush forest, like for instance, let's hit that with a green. And then the other side with like a yellow. Green, so let's see, green, yellow. So I don't set them to the same color, but now it's a bit, well, this actually looks a bit more spooky. Because there's the fog in the room, it does choke the light a bit. You could have, I do have maybe some spotlights or something to kind of add some more there, but you can still kind of make out quite a bit of the board, which is quite good. Oh, the little light. The little light, this is a, so this is from those, oh, sorry. This is from one of those Christmas Village kind of, you know those Christmas stores. So they have these for like lighting little Christmas displays, Santa riding around and stuff. But I'm going to use it for D&D instead. So I'm going to put these like little gel things on the front. So usually they don't have these color tints on them. It would be great if they did. But basically, maybe I can light one with the other here. So it's like a mini spotlight that has a little stand on it, and it kind of swivels around. So I like that you can point it in different directions. And yeah, you can get these gels off eBay. I got like a pack of like a dozen different colors, and they're just like A4. So like this is a fraction of the stuff I've used to kind of tint that light a bit. You can just leave them white as well, but I like them for adding little accents of light here and there. So they're kind of good to kind of throw around, make it feel a bit more dynamic. Yeah, so we've got the fog going. That's kind of choking the light a little bit, but it still kind of helps light this kind of thing. Now, let's say that the forest was on fire. All right, now how do we show that? Well, I think first things first. Let's get some smoke going. Let's point the smoke machine at this thing. Whoa. We're just going no hard barred on this. Take that, terrain. All right, so the whole forest is on fire now. Probably some low-lying fog would be quite good for this. So let's change this. Let's turn on the ripple feature now. And let's change that one. That's set to a yellow. You could set this to a yellow. And this accenting one to a red. So now, the whole forest is on fire. You could increase the speed there. A little bit, that's too fast. But it's got that vibe and feeling of a forest fiery kind of thing, especially if you have one of these little spotlights coming out. If you have it at an upward angle as well. Let's see, like maybe not there, but there-ish? I don't know. There-ish? I don't know. Yeah. So now it's kind of a, yeah, you got like a fiery feel. You could hit the whole thing with red if you wanted to. And that's pretty fiery. You know, you could, I would probably spin this ripple light, whoa, a little testy there, upside down, so the flames would go the other way, so they would go more up. You could even, just the way you'd position it. Can I flip this guy upside down? I don't know if I can. I can do it like this. I've lost power in that thing. Oh, there we go. So now if I hit the fire, now that kind of looks more like fire. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I don't know why I do this in my games. Yep. Yeah, so a few ideas of how to use these kind of light pairings to create some different effects. I'm a big fan of the purple. A bit of purple, a bit of blue. It kind of makes like a magical forest kind of feel. So I hope you found that interesting. Hello from Portugal. So yeah, just a little bit of some lighting techniques to help light some of those boards, and you can see like you can get a lot of mileage from just this is forest terrain that I use for everything, but you light it in a different way and it automatically takes on a different kind of feel to it. Yeah, I've got a new video coming out soon that might talk a little bit more about this kind of stuff. All right, so I'm just going to return to the table and see how this Nothic's going. I think I had a question about painting Cthulhu. Now, let's see if I can, my gosh, just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to switch to the other camera for now while I get this all fixed up. It is, oh boy, whatever organization I had before, it's gone belly up. There we go. All right, now we've got a butt ton of smoke in here. So that's that's good. All right, well, just bear with me a moment. Just gonna move it around here. There we go. Just careful of all the cables. You know, it wouldn't hurt for me to invest in some wireless stuff, I think. It's just going to be a little bit of a dance to get around this. All right. Holy crap. If you've just tuned in, this is the part of the show where you watch a man unwrap Christmas tree lights by himself and fail miserably. All right, there we go. That's a bit better. All right. Okay. Whoa. Now we've got a decent amount of atmosphere coming in here. A lot of smoke. I can feel it on me. I'm choking my... If there was a question about, like, is this smoke toxic? I've definitely breathed in my fair share trying all this stuff, and it's not like... it's not... I mean, obviously anything in excess is going to be bad for you, but I've never had any trouble. Like, it's nothing more than, this is the same kind of smoke that they use for like nightclubs or parties and stuff. And if I'm only doing this like once a week or something, to just for the odd D&D game or something, you know, it's not going to do anything. All right, there we go. We've got all that cables there. I swear now it looks like I'm some internet operator from Johnny Mnemonic. Has the cables going everywhere. But we're back in business. We've got a little bit of smoke going everywhere, but it's a small price to pay for atmosphere, I guess. It's probably going to clear up in a bit, but you'll see a little bit hazing around because I've got these more kind of spotlights kind of going on. All right, let's go have a look at how our Nothic's going. So I'm just going to switch this back over here. All right, let's switch back. All right, so it looks like camera's twisted around a bit. Right. Apologies for this, guys. I'm trying to respect your time. I appreciate you coming to the channel to watch. I don't do a lot of streaming, so, but I appreciate your time and coming to the channel. So let's have a look at how this Nothic has turned out. We've kind of dried that a little bit with the paints there. So we've got a good base there. Have I missed a couple of spots? I sure have. Underneath there, I think I might try and get under that arm a bit. So it's hard for me to tell from my perspective, but I can definitely see it on the camera. There's a little, just in his armpits there. I missed something. Okay, we can... Now, there was a question moments ago about painting tips from Phil Fish. Painting Cthulhu model. I'm having issues wrapping my head around what colors to use. That's a good question. I am not a professional painter, but I do know a little bit of color theory. I am kind of an artist by trade. I do some drawing and stuff, so I mean, that might be the way to go. If you have access to like Photoshop or something, you can take a photo of the model and just kind of brush on block areas of color on there, just to kind of see how it feels. Or you can look at reference. Reference is always a good thing, to look at reference photos or artist images of the colors and stuff that they've used, and you can start to match from there. I've never painted Cthulhu myself, but I'm guessing it's a lot of like dark blues and greens, maybe some hues of purples and stuff. I'm guessing a lot of slick, kind of like wet blending would be good. Is this? I would guess that this is from the WizKids Cthulhu, which is that little. It's like that little squat, like half Cthulhu. That model is quite good. A friend of mine has one of those, and it's nice that it's transparent, because you can just chuck a light in there, and it's already kind of it's got some godlike feelings to it when it's illuminated like that. Yeah, so painting tips. There are color schemes. Yeah, I think those would be my go-to, just to kind of look at photo references, really. Or I mean, there's no photos of Cthulhu. Maybe there is. Maybe there are real ones. Maybe he's watching the stream. Cthulhu, if you're out there, say hello. Drop in the chat. Curious to see your thoughts about what's going on here. Do you like the atmosphere? I'm sure you like smoke. Hey Nate, thanks for dropping in. Good to see you, and good to hear from you, pal. Thanks for popping in the chat. All right, I think I got this guy's pretty coverage. I'm just looking at the camera now. I think we got some good coverage on this guy now. So I'm not even putting this guy back on the blue tack thing. That was I think that was a silly idea, because now I've got blue tack stuck all over his foot. Can I take that off? Yeah, there we go. All right. I'm going to use another brush to get that stuff off. All right, there we go. Okay, so I think we've got some good coverage on this guy of this color. I quite like this color. It's got that, it does, if I was gonna, I think I have seen like reference pictures of Nothics, and it is always this kind of like, kind of meaty red, I guess, like meaty red-ish kind of purple. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some, maybe just some of this straight purple. I know it's a craft paint, but I might use that to kind of do some highlights or wet blending on it, to kind of pick up some of these features around them. And then probably a little dry blush and wash. All right, here we go. Gonna get a little bit of purple here. Maybe thin that out a bit. Actually gonna use the same brush that had that previous color on it. I'm just gonna hit some of those top bits. So I guess color wise, it is very similar. But I think I'm just aiming to give a little bit of variation in this color that's on there. Alright. Let's have a look. We've got another question here. When running social encounters, when is it appropriate to make a die roll? And if so, is a natural 20 an automatic success? So social encounters are very, they're difficult to navigate, sure. And there is guide in the Dungeon Master's Guide for running social encounters, which I've just recently become aware of, where creatures will have a particular kind of attitude towards the adventurers. So they'll be either like friendly, hostile, or indifferent. And I think with that in mind, that table in the Dungeon Master's Guide is actually quite good, because it shows like, all right, if this thing is hostile, it's going to, you know, it's not going to risk life and limb to help you, but it might not kill you, you know, and that's maybe what you might get on a natural 20. Personally, at the table, I probably haven't made much use of that table, and I probably should. Because it would make navigating some situations a bit easier, because it's like, I roll to, you know, persuade this guy or romance this guy, and well, it's natural 20 and it happens, right? And I was like, well, I'm kind of the mind of, let's role play this, and if it kind of happens naturally by role playing, then, you know, I might not even ask for a die roll. But if it kind of gets to a point within the social encounter where it's a little unsure where this like if it's a toss of the coin of where this NPC might land, then I would roll a die, and that would be kind of like how much they would be how much they would you know, go in towards the player's flavor. It's always fun when it doesn't go too well. Okay, so we've got some kind of like streaming bot in there that's going to crash this. This is probably when I'm very new to this stuff, so I'm unsure how to handle like moderating kind of stuff, but I don't like that. Whoever this guy is, Mick McCain. Want to become famous? I sure do. Would you like to know my credit card number, stuff, and my address and everything? No way, man. Okay, all right. So I think this purple was a good choice. I think it's definitely like it's a bit subtle, but I'm just using it on some of these higher muscle groups, not so much on the spikes, but I've got it thinned out quite a bit, so I'm just hitting some of those areas. So we've got that like that base meaty red underneath there, a meaty red, and just touching a few of these areas just to add some variation. Like actually probably go around here, around the jawline, maybe a bit more pink or something, but maybe I'll hit it with a little bit of this purple just to give it a little bit of that lightness. Let's thin that out a bit. Okay, all right. I actually think I've gone a little heavy over there. Just gonna use another brush to take the paint off. All right. I think I might hit him a little bit on the gum line there. There we go. You know, it's funny, but like the party doesn't even know this guy's name, and he's been with them right from the start. This was originally the Nothic from the Lost Mines of Foundelver adventure, and he's become this character, this antagonist that pops up every now and then. Not all the time, just enough to kind of creep him out, make him feel a bit eerie with his big bulbous eye. All right, now I'm thinking I'm gonna get some Flump Pink. And I'm gonna hit some of these gums, maybe like the pads of the hands, maybe a little bit around some of these lighter groups where like the muscle connects and stuff. But just taking a look, it's coming up all right. Having a lot more luck with this one than the gargoyle I painted last week. All right, so let's get some of this Flump Pink going. I might need a smaller brush for this. I'll stick with this brush first, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, Flump Pink here we go. Yeah, this camera's messed up on me again. Just gonna see if I can get the exposure. I bet it's like got, no? Made me a liar. Okay, I think it's fine. Anyway, Flump Pink, you see that? Let's get a little bit of this on his foot. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of this, because I got quite a bit of this this purple in there. Might hit a little bit in there, because it is quite a skin tone kind of thing. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit pinkish, a little bit more pinkish. Almost like that baby, soft kind of skin. I mean, if anyone's played like the Witcher 2, I'm getting from this Nothic guy, feeling like for some of the skin, feeling like the Lubberkin guy, the little monster guy, that little meaty baby thing. Ugh. It's just that sentence alone, meat baby. Okay, I think I'm gonna try and wet blend it with some of that purple. Wish me luck. Let's see. I'll start with the pads of his feet, because you're not going to see those because those are going to be glued to the base. So first of all, way too much paint on the brush. So good thing I started with the foot. Let's just wipe some of that off. Just gonna, maybe I'll get some of. Alright, so I'm just practicing here on the base of the feet just to see if the colors work. I actually quite like that. Like it is more of a skin tone. Maybe I'll try and wet blend it with some of this purple. There we go. So now you've got kind of a gradient there. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like that taut kind of skin. So I might use that on like the palms of the hands, or in these like jowly kind of stuff. So it looks like I'm gonna go quite light on the Flump Pink. So I'm just gonna try and not have too much on the brush, and we're gonna hit that jawline. Just a little bit. Nice and easy, Seb. Don't fuck it up. I actually probably would prefer like a pink there, actually. More of a pink. I don't think I have any pink. I might have to put some red into that. Yeah, I've just kind of hit undo on that a bit. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Put a little bit of that pink on there, the Flump Pink, and then go over the top of it with that original mix of red and blue that I used for the base on this thing. And it kind of worked it. That's way too much. All right, we can take another question in a sec. So let me focus on this meat face. All right. And I'm gonna take some of that other one. Let's blend that in a bit, yeah. There we go. So it's kind of like a light version of that skin tone. that pink. So yeah. Probably need a smaller brush. I don't know. I like a big brush. Get that paint on there. So I mess about. Okay. So I haven't done the teeth yet, but get the idea where it's going. Let's see. All right. Let's have a look at another question. Let's see. What are some of the homebrew rules that have improved running a game? Homebrew rules running a game. I mean, yeah, we got to talk about homebrew rules in general. These are kind of like, I think they're kind of situational. So you have to kind of have, I guess it's almost like a expression of an agreement with the table. Is like, all right, guys, we're going to try out this rule. Is that cool? And they're like, oh yeah. But there is some rules and stuff that you might keep behind the screen. Like one of the rules I quite like lately has been from DM's Lair. If you don't know his channel, they're quite good for like DM tips. Where he, especially for large groups of monsters, to use the rule of 10 with tracking hit points. So it's kind of like, instead of tracking individual hit points for monsters, it's like the amount of damage that is dealt on a creature. If it's kind of close to or around 10, then it gets a check mark. And if a monster has, like, say, 30 hit points, has to take 3 check marks and then it's dead. So, like, for instance, probably, like, all right, say, like, what has 30 hit points? I don't know. It's all right, say there was a really beefy zombie with 30 hit points, all right? The barbarian goes up to it, hits it with, attack, great axe. It hits it for 10 damage. All right, it gets a check mark. Rogue goes in natural, whatever. Rogue would get like sneak attack and stuff. That's a bad example. All right, this is a fighter, flubs a roll in the damage. Probably only gets like 3 damage on a hit. This must be very low level. And it's like, well, I won't put a check mark because that was very, very low level. But if like the next attack is like, I rolled like 7 damage, all right, so because of the other one, I'll put a check mark. It's kind of like a loose kind of memory thing where you don't have to track things exactly, but it helps speed things up, managing things, that's for sure. That was one rule that I quite enjoyed for speeding up hit points and stuff on monsters, especially because like doing the math behind the screen can take up a lot of time. I know it's like it's adding and subtracting, but these are moments that take up time within the game. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so I've done a little bit of the pads of his hands with this kind of pink color. I'm just gonna get a little. I don't know why I'm doing the pads of the foot, because you'll never see them. But I'll know it's there. Hopefully the players will recognize that too. All right, there we go. So we've got, I guess it kind of counts. You're kind of blending up from the foot, so you can see, oh, that foot is a little bit leveraged up, so you will see that. Yeah, it's got those baby feet. What to do about the ass? I don't know. You see, I've lost a couple of those spikes already. Like, I'm thinking of going in with like a gray to kind of highlight those spikes a bit. There's going to be a dry brush at some point. All right, maybe let's Maybe let's block in some of the tongue there as well. Let's have a look at another question. Is there any particular style of GMing that you aspire to or are inspired by? I bet a lot of people are going to say Matt Mercer. I mean, he is a fantastic DM, and to be honest, I haven't watched much of season. I'll probably only get about halfway through season 2, but I actually quite like how the guy from Harmon Quest runs it, Spencer Crittenden. He runs it in a more kind of like scenario-based way, where it's more of a sketch, and I like that approach because it's more like you don't have to come up with a solution to the problem or something. It's just like, here's the situation, here's the stakes involved. All right, players, you solve this. What's going on? And I quite like that, and that's now how kind of I prepare a lot of my notes, where I've just got like a line or two where it's just like a man is like yelling at the base of his window to be let in by his wife, and is trying to get in through the door. And I don't even have names or anything. I just like describe that to the player, and they'll, then it'll kind of kick into this kind of improv story session. So I kind of like that kind of style of DMing where it kind of facilitates roleplay a bit more is kind of my that's the kind of style of DMing I like the most, I think. Oh, that's a good pink now. Yeah, I'm gonna hit that in the tongue. I just threw a little bit of red into that flump pink, so it is got some, it's thinned up quite a bit too because I had some water on there. Let's see if I can throw a bit on that guy's tongue, just a little bit. Good to get some extra mileage on these paints as well, because I don't have to put more in the pot. I can just use what I've got there. I mean, I say that after adding some more paint to it, but it was mixing into some existing paint. I haven't used a wet palette before, so I'm guessing those are usually a learning curve in itself to kind of learn. All right, I'm just gonna just a little bit here, just a little bit of darker red, and I'm just blending it into that lighter red. A lot of wet blending going on in here. I think it's just trying to mix a lot of those tones to match that under purple tone. Okay, I think I'm mostly happy how that pink and red is going up. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to just hit those teeth. Did I hit this on anything? Maybe the, I kind of just brush up from the base a little bit. Oh, see? Just a little bit of highlight on the finger there. That's almost like a kind of heavy, like an overbrush, I guess. So I'm just hitting the forearms there. So that's exposing a lot of those nice looking tendons and stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna a little bit around the base of that leg. So you got those nice little gradients starting to happen. It's starting to pop some of that detail. Yeah, I guess I am doing a little bit of a dry brush with this thing now. So that's the little flump pink with a little bit of red mixed into it. So I'm using that on the, I guess I am dry brushing. A little bit of, yeah, it's making some of those ribs pop out a bit. I'm gonna have to look up where this guy's from as well. If I post this guy on Instagram, I'll put a link. You can definitely follow Atmoseeker on Instagram. And if you want to join the discussion or suggestions for topics and videos, be sure to join the Facebook group at atmoseeker.com. All right. I think we're almost about ready. We're going to put a little bit of white on those teeth, and then we're going to the pièce de résistance on this Nothic, maybe the green eye, and maybe a little bit of highlights on these spikes with some grey. All right, this guy hit the table. Would I ever base this guy? I don't know. I am kind of a fan of baseless minis. I know sometimes they don't balance as well, but I like that you can put them on terrain and it sits there and you can kind of see the terrain behind them. Maybe I should get clear bases. That would kind of meet me middle way. I'm parched. I have some of this scotch. All right. So I don't want to go like a straight white. I think that's going to be too bright. So I think meet it halfway. I'm gonna grab a little of this white. Maybe I'll keep it on brand. I'll keep the D&D lawful white, whatever this is. Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's one of those standard starter kit paints. I'm gonna need barely any for these teeth. If it comes out. If it doesn't come out, I don't know what I'm gonna do. No paint for Seb. Ugh. I think it's clogged up. There we go. Definitely gonna have to thin that out a bit. All right. Let's see. Heck, man, I've got some of this dirty ass water. Maybe I'll mix that in there to thin it out. That'll give me the hue I'm after. I'll definitely darken it a bit. Yeah, I definitely don't want it to be, you know what, shit. I should have just put some tan in there. Let's see, I've got brown. I'm gonna get some tan. I'm gonna pop some, actually. I've got some of this scale color, Tenere yellow. I'm gonna use that on the teeth. This guy's not gonna have good teeth. This guy's gonna have bad teeth. He's a Nothic. He eats magic items. Is that? No, they don't eat magic items. Maybe. That's not a bad idea, actually. Because, I don't know, sneaks into your backpack and he's just, you know, a little peckish. He's gonna steal a few of these magic items, gobble them up. What are you gonna do? Alright, just gonna, yeah, that was a good choice, because I think otherwise, shit. Made a little mistake there. See if I can fix it up. I'm gonna get a blank brush here. Blank, I say, just unused. See if we can get some of that paint out of there. Okay, well, looks like I'm now putting too much white in there. Well, may as well fix up these teeth. Get a little bit of that flump mix. That's not bad. I'm a little bit mixed on washes, because now I've got some nice detail on some of these muscles and stuff. I've paid a lot of attention to a lot of the colors and stuff and gradients. Now I'm going to put a wash over this guy. I don't think so. Would it pick up some shadows and stuff? Could you thin out like a Nuln Oil or something? I think you would hit it with a Nuln Oil or something, wouldn't you? Probably I've got the painting theology wrong, where you have to hit it with very brighter colors than you normally would, and then the wash kind of tones them down a bit. That's probably what I'm meant to do. All right, let's green up that eye. Let's get that eye going. And we'll have a look at another question. I'm not sure if I'll get to the board game tonight. I might save that for next time, because it is actually quite a good beginner introduction board game for D&D. Kind of introduces a lot of those thinking, like dice rolling, role play and stuff. So especially good for younger players. So I might have a look at that in the next stream. I'll probably end up to finish up soon when this guy's all done. And there's a new video on the way, so let's have another couple of questions while we finish up this guy. So, what is the one tool that's a must for creating atmosphere? Now, I guess that depends where you are. Like, I guess if you're on the road DM, you know, setting up at a person's house or something, it's like, I gotta have, I think the one thing for me is sound. If anything, like all the fancy lights and stuff is all great, but you know, if you've got a good speaker or you know, like just the ambient sound, like a good Bluetooth speaker or something, that is the thing that kind of grounds me in that location. So just like having that ambient swamp kind of playing, or caves, or just like the cave drone. Nothing like some music to kind of accentuate some of those role play moments and stuff. Yeah, definitely some kind of sound is the one thing that I probably couldn't live without whilst running a game. And there are so many great like composers out there now that are focused on creating like more ambient soundtracks for role playing. I've been listening to one recently who's just fantastic. He has the RPG toolkit on YouTube. He's going through a few of the adventures, kind of making like an album of. So it's like, it's mostly like he's got Curse of Strahd there. He's making a Rime of the Frost Maiden one, which is fantastic. And it's kind of like a few kind of looping mixes, but they have different connotations for different situations. So those are fantastic. I'll leave a link for his channel in the description as well. So it's the RPG toolkit. He has, is it RPG toolkit? We just, I know that's one of his playlists that he has there. And you probably find him by looking at that kind of stuff. So let me see if I can just pull up his music. I could give a little sample. You know what? I'm gonna pause this jaunty tune. Let's have a little listen to one of his Rime of the Frost Maiden tracks. This is, yes, it is RPG Music Maker by Travis Savoy. This is the main theme. So this is like when you're giving the recap for the game, or describing the, you know, riding into the Rime of the Frost Maiden. Icy wind beats across your face while you see your fellow adventurers stumble in the snow. You pick them up and you bolster yourselves against the icy wilderness, and you head into one of the 10 towns that pervade this Arctic frost. It's fantastic. It has that kind of gravitas kind of thing. I really love the music kind of stuff. Is quite, especially on this channel, it gets it quite right, that thematicness. It doesn't have that that overly synthy kind of stuff. It does sound like actual instruments and stuff. So yeah, big fan of that one. I'm gonna have a little listen to this. Might be a bit loud, so I'm just going to turn it down a bit. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of this guy's stuff. And it also depends on your, this is a little bit of darkness, mystery, what's going on there. All right, I'm going to use a Treant Green on this guy first, on this guy's eyeball. Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of like, if you're running around with a Frost Maiden, it's a good way to like, let's get everyone pumped up that we're gonna do this thing. But he also has tracks for like looping kind of combat mixes, or like kind of more subdued stuff when you're in the town. Let's see if I can find something like that. So I just go to Travis Savoy's channel, the RPG Music Maker. Just go, he's got a few playlists made. There are some of these that are available on Spotify. It appears that he has to have a few of these kind of done together before they can kind of be grouped together on Spotify as an album. The Curse of Strahd one is quite good. We can get a little taste of Curse of Strahd. Oh, there you go. So this is the introduction. So it looks like he's got like a introduction kind of theme music that you kind of play at the start of the session to kind of get the tone of the game going. A little bit of mystery, danger. Those you want those players to be a little bit nervous. What's going on? A little bit excited. This guy's eye is huge. Definitely gonna start it with the green. All right, there we go. So we got a little. Actually, might take a little bit of that that yellow I squidged out earlier. I'm gonna mix that a little bit with the brush that has some of this green on there still. Just gonna wet blend it in the middle there a bit. It's definitely too much paint on this brush. Definitely getting, yeah, it's definitely a good Curse of Strahd gravitas. I have always wanted to run it. I have been playing in it for quite a while. It is one of those games that is very heavy. Like it's got that. I'll have to hand it to the DM. He's very good at hammering back that feeling of despair in this place. So I'm gonna give a little dab here. I feel like I've got to let that first layer on the green dry a bit before I can hit it again. All right, I'm gonna just do that. All right. I think while that's kind of settling, we'll just have one last look at this guy. And I think I'll finish off the eye maybe later or tomorrow. But thank you very much for everyone for coming to the live stream. I'm still learning how to do these things, but I appreciate your time coming here. And if you are finding some value in the channel, and I can turn off some of the dramatic music now. But if you are finding value in the channel and enjoying the stuff I do, please subscribe and share with your friends or any other kind of like Facebook groups or anything. I really appreciate the support, and I'm definitely listening to any suggestions and stuff that people are putting out there. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, so by all means, stop by next time. I'm trying to do this every week. We'll see how far that goes before I get too burnt out on things. So by all means, check out the Atmoseeker Facebook group at atmoseeker.com. There you can join the discussion and suggest new topics, or have a look at other people's atmosphere tools or techniques. There is the YouTube channel, and please like, share, and subscribe when you can. Ultimately, only if you like the videos and stuff. And there's an Instagram as well, all that stuff. And I appreciate the support, and the community around this this crafting D&D community has been extremely supportive, and I'm very thankful for all of that. Thank you for everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next live stream, and hopefully the next Atmoseeker video will be coming soon. So please stay tuned, stay subscribed, and let's create and inspire. See you next time.